And you don't have to start with big Gen AI or Chat GPT as this jargons are thrown about. Start with small, simple time series prediction algorithms. Like, so I think it's important to have the ability to speak. That's the basic fundamental atom to survive in today's life. In order to get out of situations, interview can be a culmination of decision making, proper decision making. Like, they might give you an abstract situation and they might put you in that situation and tell you how do you solve that situation.
So Arka,
Yes.
like MuSigma is renowned for its rigorous selection process. Could you walk us through your interview experience and how you navigated the challenges to secure a position there?
Hello everyone, this is Arpita Gupta hosting today's session of Wooble Nexus. Wooble is here with its virtual podcast, Wooble Nexus Mini, and today we are tackling a burning topic, the unexpected skill gap, bridging the difference between academia and industry with mentorship. Our guide on this bridge building mission is none other than Arka Saha, a full stack data scientist currently working at ServiceNow. He also brings the firepower of his experience at MuSigma. Get ready for an info-packed journey on how mentorship can supercharge your transition from textbook to killer data science skills.
So, hello Arka, welcome to Wooble Nexus. We are honored to have you on board as a data science mentor, and we eagerly anticipate the knowledge and guidance you will bring to our community. Your role as a mentor will not only provide valuable insights in data science, but also extend to assisting our community members in their career journey across various domains. So, let's kick off the session and begin our journey together at the Nexus.
Thank you so much, Arpita, for the warm welcome. Really means a lot. Yeah.
So, the
I'm very
first
excited to be
question is
yes.
thank you so much. So, if you could describe yourself in three words, what would it be?
Uh, I would say curious, impatient in the right way to get maybe work done, and uh, and a lot of energy, too much energy, extrovert.
Okay,
Yes.
amazing. So, if you were to write a book about your life, what would be the title be of that book?
Uh, a human trying to reach perfection.
Great, amazing. So, the
Yeah.
most interesting question: if you could switch jobs with anyone in your company for a day, who would it be and why?
Uh, if it would be in my company, of course, I would try to be the CEO of the company, and that would be to leverage the entire company's, like, to know actually for a day, how the company works, what are the different organizations or the sectors or the different verticals that a CEO has to deal with, a day-to-day scenario, and whether his life is really very exciting as a CEO would claim to be, or it really comes up with a lot of roadblocks or a lot of hardships that he or she has to go through in order to maintain that position. So yeah, that would be a life that I would want to switch for one day to understand what it is to be a leader in the first place.
Amazing that you want to explore that leadership journey for being a
Yes,
CEO of
yes,
the company. So,
yes.
Arka, your career trajectory spans from MuSigma to ServiceNow with diverse role in between. How have these experiences shaped your approach to data science?
So honestly, when I graduated post my college from IIT Bhubaneswar, so then I was actually placed in MuSigma, right? So I have been actually exposed to a lot of roles, whether it was in FMCG, CPG, and pharma. I feel that when you are exposed to data science, people have this notion that you just have to learn different types of tools, you have to do machine learning algorithms, and right now AI is the buzzword. But people also should understand that there is business involved as well, which people tend to forget, because we are not just here to solve problem statements, sorry, to work on different technical skills or tools, but we also have to understand what are the business problems. If there is any lacuna that is there that needs to be solved and that needs to be given fruition to come arrive at a certain result. And for that, I personally feel that I have been exposed to different verticals, and that has changed me as not just from a business perspective, but as a person altogether. So when I started off with CPG, then moving to retail, and then pharma. So, and I'm very proud about having worked in pharma because it showcased to me a life of a not just from a doctor's perspective, but also from a patient's perspective, because I was working in the realm of cancer. And that was very enthusiastic for me, that I was not just bringing in revenue for the company in terms of data science, but I was also bringing in an impact in the lives of patients, because we were looking into medications, we were looking into indications as in the cancer, different types of cancers, and what are the different types of medicines that will help these cancer patients work along their journey. And of course, post the business cycles that I have been through, and I also work with Abinbev. In Abinbev, I was working in the again in pricing forecasting, right? So where we were trying to look into the alcohol industry, the beer industry, and how what are the pricing points of this beer industry and how they are faring with other companies. And right now, I work with ServiceNow, where in ServiceNow I'm again trying to see the company's growth trajectory. So all in all, I would say that these business problems have given me different types of thought processes, and on top of that, whatever Python, SQL, Snowflake, Tableau, Power BI, which are the visualization tools and the backend tools, if you are able to combine these skills together, and if you have a little bit of knowledge of, I would say, machine learning models to understand whether you are doing a classification problem or a regression problem, whether you want to do prediction or you want to classify something to know how your company is performing. So I think if you're able to embed all of this together and work on a day-to-day life, you can be a proper data science person in any field that you want to be. So that's what my role,
It's great
my
to know that
understanding.
you have a vast skills of knowledge and you have
Yeah.
explored that. So, can you define a moment in your career when you finally decided you want to choose data science as your path?
That's what exactly where MuSigma comes in. So I'm from electronics department, right? So after
Okay.
studying in electronics and telecommunication, so I was exposed, like in placements, how it happens to this field of analytics. Of course, it is totally naive and totally alien to my stream. But then when I got into MuSigma, that is where I fell in love with this occupation, and that ultimately made me realize that this will be my passion and this will be my career going forward, and I don't want to switch streams anymore, because data science, what that time when I started back in 2019, my journey in data science, it was still very nascent. That time it was the field of IoT and robotics. Then this boom came, and now it's all Gen AI. And then I realized that I just got the opportunity by God's grace at the right time, I would say. But of course, after that, I made the most out of it, and I learned from MuSigma for a span of 3 years, all the data science course curriculums and whatever they have to teach. And the best thing about that company, it's a very fast-paced company. It gives you that speed at a very short span of time. So you have to be also very fast in attaining or grabbing what they have to give you. They put you on the delivery floor after a very small, minuscule time period of training, and that is where the learning actually happens. And it's like saying that you put someone who doesn't know swimming into an ocean, and of course, to survive, it's called survival of the fittest, right? So that's how you survive, and that's how my journey happened, and that is when I fell in love with all these different nitty-gritties of data science as well. So yeah, that would be my say to your question.
Amazing. So, as a full stack data scientist, what are the key skills you believe are essential for success in both academic and industry setting?
Yes. So SQL, anyone would know, would be the primary fundamental atom of learning data science, because that's the coding language, either Python or SQL. I would say SQL because mostly we deal with tables over data frames when it comes to data science role, or it is any form of system administrator role or database role. So it's always everyone thinks in form of a table. It becomes easy for a person or someone to actually fetch you, give you data. So that's the first thing that you should know, SQL, and then machine learning algorithms. And you don't have to start with big Gen AI or Chat GPT as this jargons are thrown about. Start with small, simple time series prediction algorithms like ARIMA, SARIMA. There's a small linear regression. There's a small algorithms, and then maybe you can jump to classification problems like logistic, XGBoost, and there are so many ensemble, bagging, boosting, and so many other jargons, right? So right now, I would say the data science world is a very it's a very jargonic world that people are like, okay, this, but it's not. You just have to start slow, start steady, start with SQL, start with maybe one visualization tool like Power BI or Tableau. Maybe Excel also works, yes, but you need to know SQL and Excel. I forgot to say this earlier. SQL and Excel are a must, and then machine learning algorithms, yes, in between, and then you evolve to Python and proper machine learning, advanced machine learning models, I would say, like XGBoost. So this is how it should be. SQL, Excel, small machine learning models like Arima Selma, then advanced Python, Tableau, and yes, and then on top of that, you can use some data lakes like Azure Data Lake, or maybe DevOps. Those are extra things that you can learn. So yeah, that's what my say would be to your question.
Okay, thank you for sharing such valuable information, because this particular information is going to help our audience who want to looking forward for data science career in their life. Okay, so
Right.
mentorship play a crucial role in bridging the gap between academia and industry. Can you share a mentorship experience where you significantly impacted someone else's career trajectory, and how your guidance helped them navigate their path in the field of data science?
Thank you for that. So in MuSigma, when I was again working, so basically I had the opportunity to be a mentor towards the end of my career there. So back when I became a training, an apprentice leader, towards the fag end. So we had a lot of mentees coming in. Mentees, I mean new joinees. So they were assigned to me under the pharma vertical. So that's where my journey as a mentor began. And to be honest, like you rightly mentioned, I think the question comes as compared to the topic of this entire discussion is to bridge the gap between academia and
Yeah.
industry, right? So I think there is already a very big lacuna. It might sound a bit blunt and extreme from my end, but there is, because what, even if the NEP education policy 2020 has come in right now, I think it kicked off very late. It could have kicked off earlier. And at the same time, I think holistically, there should be a bigger revamp of the whole Indian education system as this is my opinion, in terms of teaching the students what they need to know, and that too at the right time, because we teach our students, or Indian education mentality is has transitioned from the Pathshala and the madrasa type system, and that is, I wouldn't say stagnated, that is evolving right now, but at a very slower pace than required, which is why what the placement scenario and the academia are not related, similar to what I'm also going, and I think a lot of us are going through. A mechanical guy works in IT, a civil guy works in IT, or an electronics guy working in ITA, but the streams are totally different, right? So I would say that the first and foremost thing that we should do is, which I faced when I was mentoring these kids, is they were from different departments. So either you put a certain subject of relevance of the current industry going through. So if it is data science, for example, you teach data science as a part of the curriculum as it is. So when they came into my purview as mentees, so that was the first thing, right? I had to teach them SQL. I had to take sessions for them. I had to teach them Python. I had to take sessions for them, and I had to teach them from a very granular level. Not just that they had some idea. Maybe they had some C++, Java basic concept, oops idea, but they did not have the SQL, Python, because that was not taught yet, right? So after that, we had to teach them business context, right? And this spanned over again 3 to 4 months, 5 months. And even after they got inducted into the vertical, when the first study or the first exploratory analysis or the first project comes in, at that time we had to be the secondary mentor. So how the work was: primary analyst, secondary analyst, right? So that's how our work was divided towards in pharma. So
Okay.
even if we, in order for them to build the trust that they could be client facing, they had to perform a certain thing, and I had to QC that. And if it was not correct, we had to call it out. We had to get them corrected. That is how, at least in my journey, I taught them how to be proper client facing. Proper resources. We call them human resources in our corporate company, right? So after that, they become client facing, and finally they gain that confidence, and then they know that they can do it. They don't have any form of underconfidence inside them. And yes, that is how you, at least that is how I try to develop them. And at the same time, I personally feel that this is my takeaway. We tend to, become very exhausted, very burnt out. We feel that we will get angry, rude, and frustrated. I think a little bit of kindness also to showcase on someone, because you need to understand that you were in their position once upon a time. So if you can also bestow that same level of kindness while you're teaching them, I think they will become better people, mentors, or resources, call it whatever, and better human beings for the society. So that's my say to your question.
Amazing to know this, because I believe a perfect mentor is very much important in one's life. So,
Yes,
as you said
yes.
that there is a huge gap between this. So, in your opinion, what are the some common misconception that academia and industry hold about each other, and how these can be addressed?
Right. So I think the first thing is that when any company or any industry person comes, they think from their point of view, right? That's what I was trying to say. They think that what we are expecting is what the college will give us, because the industry has still not interjected or deep delved into the universities at that level, and there is a stern disconnection between the academia people and people who are actually working in corporates. The corporate people, they are actually pretty much have maybe done their BTech or whatever background, and then maybe they have taken an done an MBA, or maybe they have not, or maybe they have not, but they're still into the corporate field. When it comes to an academia, the professors or the people, they do not, they may or may not come, but hardly they come with any form of corporate exposure. They might be doing some BTech and then MTech and then PhD. So what I'm trying to say is the degrees themselves do not have any interconnection other than the bachelor's degree itself. So what the problem that happens is the mindset itself gets diversified at the very initial phase, right? So when an industry company comes into a college to actually grab students, they're expecting that the students will already know what they know, which is not the case. And even if they say that okay, we will give you training, we will keep you in internship, we will keep you in probation, they expect that student, after working for 4 years in an alien domain, to know everything about their company within that small span of time. So I think that is where the lacuna is. And of course, a student can do that, because and this country, this world is a very competitive world, extremely competitive, within 1.6 billion as we speak right now. And so having said that, so these students, some of them will fail, they will throttle. It's like a pressure cooker scenario, right? And some of them will survive, and the survival of the fittest concept comes there again. So the misconception lies in the syllabus of the academia and the syllabus of the industry. They are not in sync. If they are in sync, irrespective of whatever industry they're coming from. So if the IT industry is holding the most right now potential to grab students, then even in mechanical, civil, or the core branches, I'm trying to refer to electronics, then you put some of the subjects there as well. And I'm not saying to put those subjects like just for one semester. Maybe give them a rebrush, a revision of them in every semester, so that they can also think like the CS and IT students, right? Because in every college you go, the CS and IT are considered to be the cream branches. The rest of the branches are given lesser importance, is what my opinion is. And ultimately, all of these students are fighting with these students, right? So that's what I think the first thing we should do, to create a sync, to give each and every branch this relevant subjects, from the CSIT, and also to brush all of them together at the same time. And last but not the least, to give them a lot of industry exposure at the beginning of their lives, because while we are doing this college and university, our semesters, assignments, and all of this, we are not having any form of industry exposure as internships as well. What we do is we try to find out some of our own industry exposure or whatever we have, like we go to some DRDO or Indian Railways, and we just put them there in our LinkedIn, and just for the looks of it. And maybe we try to put it into some company interviews, but we do not actually try to gauge anything out of it. So I think those internship exposures are very important. in terms of the industry companies who are coming to take in students. And I know that they do not have a very large baton of taking in a lot of students in their internship programs. So maybe as much as possible and multiple companies. So once that happens, immediately the students will try to think from a company point of view, and that will help them to get placements better, be more job ready, and last but not the least, nowadays companies expect more experienced people over freshers. But where will freshers get experience in the first place, right?
Definitely.
A baby has to a baby has to be born in order to become a man. So a fresher also has to learn somewhere something, right? So once this internship or technical opportunities kick in at the very nascent stage, immediately they will gain a lot of experience. And once they get that experience, they will become better workforce or better resources for any company, irrespective of where they have interned at in the first place. So that's my key giveaway for
I
this.
just agree with all of this point that student must be given some industry exposure at the beginning of
Exactly.
their career so that they are ready for the industry exposure. So Arka,
Yes.
like MuSigma is renowned for its rigorous selection process. Could you walk us through your interview experience and how you navigated the challenges to secure a position there?
Yes. So in MuSigma during my time, even though certain things have changed, but I'm trying to be as relevant with respect to my experience. So they have a new app exam. So that examination is you can compare it to the likes of maybe an MBA exam because it has aptitude, reasoning, quantitative aptitude, reasoning, and verbal. So these are the types of sections. And yes, they have a one important psychometry test, right? So they call it the psychometry test. So these are the three, four sections that they have. So in the psychometry test checks your empathy, the quantitative and the aptitude and the section checks how much you're good at math, and maybe they will give you a pseudo code writing section. So basically, you don't have to. It's not a hacker rank. I don't know about how they've evolved right now, but back then during my time, they has used to have this pseudo code platform where you can just write a code with your understanding of what you understood, because a hacker rank platform or metal platform will expect you to know the syntax by heart and you have to get the outputs as it is. They won't help you. But the pseudocode actually helps a certain commoner who is not from a CSIT background to also think about what logic he or she would implement and write a syntax of his or own way, or maybe proper English, so that the person, the company is able to understand that, okay, you still can think like that of a programmer, right? They want to check your technical know-how in terms of coding. So these were the sections that were covered during my time. After that, when I cracked new app, they had a GD section. So that
Okay.
was quite rigorous. So the GD section basically tells you to, maybe they'll give you a topic. There'll be four people with you sitting around and the person in front of you, and you will have to perform a GD there itself. They will give you a topic and some minutes to think, maybe 5-10 minutes in my time, and you'll have to speak for, and you know how a GD works, right? So that's how the GD will go on, and then you come up with a conclusion of that. And the topics can be very bizarre, it can be abstract, it can be a very data science centric as well. Like I remember some topics from my time, I'll give you some examples. Maybe you'll have to predict the next World Cup winner. So how will you come across that? They will throw that in the GD itself. Yes, right. So that can be, or it can be as abstract as, maybe not abstract, I would say maybe a current affairs topic, right? Like maybe honesty is the best policy can also be one topic, or maybe you can say like some current affair topic that's maybe ongoing, or maybe on electoral bonds that got revealed yesterday, or maybe CA. Just giving an example out there. During my time, I just remember one that was predict the World Cup. That was a very hyped topic back then. So that was some of the GD topics. Other than that, post that we once we are selected for the GD, we will have the PI, the personal interview. By the way, I was the last guy for my interview. Like the entire interviews, all of them had, and I
Oh,
was the last guy. It was quite a very lengthy process. Our results were announced, I think, around 1 a.m. 12 a.m. 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. is what I can concur. There in the interview again, guesstimates they ask a lot. During my time they did. So like I was saying about the interview, right? So we actually have basically the interview can be a culmination of decision making, proper decision making. Like they might give you an abstract situation and they might put you in that situation and tell you how do you solve that situation. It can be a managerial situation. It can
okay.
also be something pertaining to your your background. Like I'm from electronics, they can ask. It depends again their background as well, about their background. It can also it can for sure be, it will, there might be some guesstimates, because they love guesstimates, because it gives you a little sense about how your analytical thinking goes. And
Yeah.
also, last but not the least, they might give you some, if you're from CSIT background or maybe from any other background, they might give you to solve programming questions like Fibonacci series, some basic programming questions. So I think this 3 4 concepts, and maybe some current affairs as well. So if you are very well aware about your surroundings, if you're aware about your core, which on the basic side, and last but not the least, if you are from if you have a little knowledge about programming, and guesstimates are something you can practice on your own, I think you can do wonders in the interview, is what my opinion
Okay.
is.
So can you also guide us, like what are the steps, like how many rounds are there in an interview?
Right. So from the beginning, like I said, uh, so MUAPT, GD, and in a round, in an interview, there is only one round. Interview is only
Okay.
one round. So total there are three for the overall process. Interview is one round, but I did also see some people having re-interviews because they did not, type in or do a proper input of their performance or feedback. Right. So that can happen. That's a glitch of their system. But there's always one interview only. There.
So the final round of interview is a mix of HR and technical round?
Yes, yes, yes. You can say that. Right, right.
Okay, okay. Thank
Yes,
you so much, because this particular information is going to help our audience a lot who are looking
sure.
forward to join MuSigma or
Yes,
any data science place.
correct.
So that will
Correct.
be definitely going to beneficial for them.
Yes.
So many of our listeners aspire to join prestigious company like MuSigma, ServiceNow as a data scientist. Based on your experience, what key skills and quality you believe candidate must have to stand out during the application and interview process?
Right. So I think I was saying one of just I'll take one reference, Akash's podcast, which you had sent on the mail.
Okay.
So there also one of the persons rightly mentioned that being an introvert won't work. So you will have to have communication
Yes.
skills. So I would say, of course, I'm an extrovert. You might have understood that by now. I love to communicate. I live a social life in terms of communicating with human beings or learning stories. So I think it's important to have the ability to speak. That's the basic fundamental atom to survive in today's life. In order to get out of situations, being polite and kind will come along with that. But yes, you should at least be able to have the ability to speak properly, communicate properly, right? I know it can be a deterrent for many, and given how big our country is, but yes, that's sadly one of the prerequisites that we should have in today's world that we live into in order to get properly employed. Other than that, I would say you should have that enthusiasm, not just in terms of knowing things. If suppose I'll give an example, if there are two candidates sitting in front of me, and maybe if I'm interviewed, this is from my perspective though. If there's one guy who knows it all, but maybe he's not showing energy, he's lackluster. There's another person who may not know everything, but still has the, I can see that attitude in him coming out, maybe while he's interacting with me, that he's showing a lot of energy. He's very arduous, he's hardworking, maybe that's coming off, maybe. So I will stick to the first person. This is my opinion, right? So have that ability to be hardworking and enthusiastic while you speak. Show that energy, because always you would not know everything under the sun, right? So it is important to be enthusiastic. It is important to communicate, and it is important to, if suppose if you're an experienced person, if you already have knowledge about certain things, right? Like, so for example, if you're a fresher, I like I already stated, you need to know things about from your core. But if you have already had experience, maybe in data science or software development or any web development anywhere, and you're switching companies, so I would really recommend you to know about your projects and your work very well, because that is going to be the key takeaway for your next company venture, right? So it is important for them to know you, not just by your work certificate or just by your pay slips, but from who you are as a person. So as a person within you, they will try to dissect that and give it to the and take that and then assess you on the basis of that. So I think these are the three important things that are important: having knowledge about your past history, work, technical skills, and extrovertedness, as in terms of communication, and having energy and empathy. So if you are having those at a very high level, or in a good mix, it will do wonders.
Amazing, because I do believe communication is the key for cracking all the interviews perfectly
Exactly,
and landing
exactly.
up in a company. Okay,
Yes.
so looking ahead, what do you envision for the future of data science, and what role do you see yourself playing in shaping the future?
So like I said, when I started off, data science will was the future, will be the future. I think data science is the future. It's an oxymoron,
Okay,
right? We are living
correct.
the future, in short. So we are living the future, we are in the future, and there's no more future beyond this, is what I am assuming. It's only going to evolve and evolve and evolve till maybe machines will take over. That will be a very bad statement to make. Like, maybe I've seen some films like Terminator, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of my favorite films. But yes, that's the dystopia or utopia that we're going towards, because we ultimately, we human beings have a tendency to get very comfortable. We love to do that, and we want to make our lives easier, and we want to make business out of that comfort, right? Our
Correct.
journey is to make our others lives easier, and we want to make business out of that, and that's an incredible thing that we are.
True.
So so having said that, I think the future lies in making this bigger and bigger until we are able to create a human embodiment out of this. And already it has started in India. There are many restaurants, I think, they've started using AI robots. And there are in Dubai also, they brought in a AI robot, right? So I think it's already there in place, just that the mass manufacturing hasn't started yet. And on top of that, making it very very human like, right? So even these robots or this automation will come to such an extent that they will become very human like. And last but not the least, yes, so this, and what my role would be, in my opinion, is to make sure that humans, at least that's what I personally feel, that right now the biggest repercussion that we are all feeling is this: AI will take our jobs, AI will take our jobs. That's the conundrum everywhere. So my opinion and my role at a future stage would be to make sure that humans and AI coexist. And because if AI or data science has to work perfectly, humans will definitely be required. A human intervention will always be there. It won't be a totally a Terminator like scenario, like I mentioned, unless things go out of hand. And I in the future see that I can be a connoisseur of this, to make sure that both of them work in sync, in harmony, and there is no form of rebellion happening when this happens. So yeah, that's, and I hope
Amazing.
that I live long enough to see that as well. So that's also there.
You will definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
that's
at
okay.
last, what your message for Wooble community?
So I think even I got exposed to the Google community. I like taking a personal experience. I've been knowing Akash from my college days, and this company, I think, can do wonders, because I have come to know that they are enriching lives by creating portfolio systems. And it's also very very AI centric. So AI is also part of you guys and your daily lives that you're leading. So for the Wooble community as a whole, I would say that just keep hustling, keep working hard, make proper. Like, this is also something that I just forgot in between. I should have mentioned that. Be able to create proper CVs or resumes or portfolios out of yourself, because at the end of the day, before seeing you as a person, they are going to assess you or shortlist you on the basis of what you share with them, right? And that is,
Right.
I think, where you guys are playing a very very pivotal role, to create that job opportunity, or to give them that job opportunity to even sit for that interview. Sorry, not job opportunity, the opportunity to even sit for the interview. So you have to get shortlisted for that. So I think that that's my giveaway for the entire Google community, is to create a very very good crisp version of you on paper, and to prepare yourself to defend that paper, or that portfolio, or that resume, or that website that you've created for yourself. And once you do that, I think no matter how harsh the market scenario is, as we say right now, we are in recession, you will still land a job, because jobs can never go away. It's just cluttered, and
True.
just that the person waiting to find that right person, right? It's like a matchmaking. So you will get that. So that's my. give away for
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you so much, Arka, for sharing your invaluable insight and experience with us today. Your expertise and guidance have truly enriched our discussion and inspired us to strive for excellence in our professional endeavors. We are grateful for your time and look forward to implementing the wisdom you have shared. And very soon, we will share you an email to onboard you as a mentor in Google
Thank you.
community.
Thank you, Arpita. It was really nice talking to you and the team, and I'm really grateful for
Thank
being
you
a
so
part of
much.
this and very privileged.
Thank
I
you.
hope you have a
Have
great
a
day.
good
Thank
day.
you. Thank
Have
you,
a good day.
Arpita.